Now with our lead story, the media war featuring liberal comedian Jon Stewart versus the Fox News Channel. Joining us from Detroit, Nancy Skinner. And from Los Angeles, Leslie Marshall, both are radio talk show stars. So Leslie, begin with you. Do you agree that the story is more important than just the Jon versus Bernie business?
Well, I actually do, Bill, but it's not even about networks, and I don't think it's even about left or right. I think it becomes about the divisiveness and sometimes the venom on both the left and the right, as I think that you even agree with me there, when we forget that we may have ideological differences, philosophical differences, but you don't have to shoot the messenger. We're not trying to have converts here. We're trying to find some common ground. And in Jon Stewart's case, obviously, poke fun at some people he doesn't agree with.
Yeah, but it's more than that with Stewart. He really feels that the Fox News Channel is doing a disservice to America. He really is offended by our presentation. I mean, there's no doubt about that. He came on his program and told me flat out, he just thinks we're a bunch of charlatans here. And I think he believes that because he is a committed liberal. He likes President Obama, and he doesn't want criticism of President Obama. Nancy, am I wrong?
No, I don't. I think he's satire. You talked about it earlier, Bill. And let's face it, satire is only funny when there's a kernel of truth and then you take it over the top. Just ask Tina Fey. You asked the question, why are there no conservative comics with their own television program? He might say, Glenn Beck is your conservative comic. But to your point about the bigger issue here, Bill, I think everyone has their own worldview. There's a dominant conservative and a progressive worldview out there. I've been on Fox for 11 years now, starting with Neil Cavuto on your show many times. People always ask me, why on earth do you go on Fox? Because I think that when people have their own worldview, which they inherit, really, is what I believe, then that's the reality. And so when someone challenges that, they say, you're out of touch with reality. And they are, because it's not their reality. So I go on Fox, and I like the spirited debate that we all have here, because it's the way to change hearts and minds. And instead of just preaching to the yah-yah sisterhood on my left, I want to actually engage, and that's what I think you do.
You wouldn't go out and say what Stewart says, that, you know, we're autoimmune disease, we're this, we're that. I mean, he just ran it down last night.
But he's doing humor. He's over the top humor.
But he isn't. It's almost like Lenny Bruce and these guys, George Carlin. There's Carlin. He is and he isn't, okay? He is the point man. He is the point man now for the American left on television, Leslie. There's no doubt about it. There is no liberal commentator as powerful and as well accepted in the liberal precincts as Jon Stewart. Nobody. Nobody. Leslie.
Give me time. Give me time.
I can't give you 3 days. I can't. All right. You knew what we were talking about tonight. You still don't have it because there isn't anybody.
No, I'm not talking about that. So give me time to become the #1 liberal commentator. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Right. But he is a comedian. He is a comedian, and the reason he's attacking you, the reason he's attacking Fox, and one of the reasons that Nancy and I are on Fox is you guys are #1. I've said it before. You're king of the mountain. He's glad you're talking about him. He just hopes you spell his name right. He has a lot of people.
He benefits from it, but there's more to that. I know him.
Yeah.
I know him. There's more to that. He sincerely is offended by the presentation on this network. It's not funny to him, although he uses it in his humorous presentation. Sincerely offended. He thinks that we're doing bad things for the country. But
Bill,
as Bernie pointed out, Nancy, as Bernie pointed out, there are people on the left doing bad things for the country, and he leaves them alone primarily. Go ahead.
But don't you feel the same way toward what he's doing?
No, I don't at all. I do not feel
offended by what he's saying.
Not at all.
So
not at
that's
all.
my two
I have no
worldviews.
beef with him. I never have had a beef with him. The only reason I have a beef with Letterman once in a while is because Letterman goes over the top nasty, you know, and whereas Stewart is clever. I don't have any beef with him at all. But he is genuinely offended by the Fox News Channel. There's no doubt about that.
Well, you know what? I'll tell you what. I will say this. I've been coming on, and I never pull any punches. And no one ever coaches me to say, you know, what needs to be said. I don't do it for an audience. But Bernie's point earlier when he said he didn't think that you get hate mail, he should see my hate mail.
No. And I said that to Bernie, and you clearly heard me say that you get that on both fringes. You do.
Yes.
And that's the truth. All right, ladies, thanks very much. We appreciate it. Directly ahead.